Hello YouTube, this is Shirley426 and today we have something very exciting to review. Today we have the review of the HG Scopedog from the Votoms series, or Votoms series. Now, for those who don't know, I have actually reviewed the old Master Grade-ish Votoms kits from Bandai. I believe I reviewed the Brutish dog and then one Scopedog. Although the Scopedog was not the original basic Scopedog, it was the one from the Burkov Squad version, which is also like from a movie line as well. But once again, that's because it was the only option I had at the time, because I was already too late in getting those kits. Alright, so today we have the review of the HG Scopedog. Now, I believe this released yesterday. I mean, yesterday in Korea, and then last week in Japan. So, I just wanted to point that out as well. So, for me, I got it yesterday and finished building it, and I absolutely love the kit. And I actually have some high hopes for this line, and some, really other hopes from this series as well. Alright, so once again, I'm not going to talk about scale because once again, the box only says HG. I don't see any numbers for scale, so once again, I'm not going to go too deep with that because I really never cared for those kind of parts as well. Alright, so currently what you see is in its folded up version, so the downform mechanism version. So in the series, you'll see some of the Scopedogs when they're moving like mass units in a truck or a container, they're always like folded up in this, and then they're all stacked up in 2 to 3 stacked up from top to bottom. So once again, kind of interesting mechanism. I'm not really sure how efficient this would be in real life if you were to store it like this, but once again, they added this gimmick into an HG kit. Now the Master Grade gimmick, not the Master Grade, but the 1 to 20 scale version also had this gimmick. Of course, it was much more trickier to do, but once again, they simplified that version in the HG version as well. Alright, and once again, I won't be doing any comparisons with the 1 to 20 scale because I am currently living on my own, and the 1 to 20 scale versions are at my parents' house. So, oh well. Alright, so before we start, let me just get this guy back to normal. So once again, it's pretty much the same gimmick. What you think? Just fold this up. It's just all about straightening up the legs here. So yeah. Of course, now making it like look clean and covering up everything is a little bit tricky because I don't think if you do that, I believe it kind of hinders like the articulation stuff. So I'm just going to be in like the midpoint where it works okay and it looks clean, and that's a good to go situation here. Alright, so once again, we have him standing now, so that's pretty good. Alright, so as usual, let's go over the components. So first of all, what you get, of course, is obviously the Scopedog itself. I absolutely love the size, color, the proportions, everything. Although I do think maybe the body seems a little bit fat, but once again, that could be just me. Oh, and once again, I should do that. But once again, I absolutely love the fact that we are getting a high-grade version of a Votoms kit, because so far, if you wanted like a small version of the Scopedog, the only option you had, as far as I know, was the kits that are made by Wave. And one thing, I actually have a friend I asked, and then he definitely did not recommend me to try the Wave kit. So once again, I did not. I listened to him, and yeah, I'm glad I waited off for this. Alright, other than that, currently you can see the hands are the multi-purpose hands, and then you get one slightly open hand for the left arm, and you get the Scopedog's iconic machine gun here as well. So definitely looking good, a very small scale, but once again, absolutely love the design here. And there's one thing I should mention, is that the manual actually mentions this multiple times, where this kit has been made some parts have been made in thick plastic. I'm not sure what they mean by that, but yeah, some parts are actually very thick here. Like you can see the front skirts, you can see it's pretty thick compared to a Gunpla unit kit. And then another detail is that, so once again, if we were to making this in a regular Gunpla kit, you would actually have, like for example, if these parts, you would have 2 pieces slapping, you would slap 2 pieces together, front and back, and you have to go. But then once again, this is actually a single piece that's in thick plastic, and the front and back are all molded. So once again, the detail on this kit is top notch. Another example would be that, for example, the magazine of a gun, we would typically have a single piece, a very small piece, or 2 pieces, you slap them together, front and back. But instead, for this one, this is a single piece. This chunk of plastic is a single piece, and you can see the front and back are also all detailed. So that is absolutely fantastic. Alright, other than that, finally, we get the stickers. Now, they do give you some leftovers, spare stickers, just in case they accidentally peel off for the cameras. So you get 4 green ones and 4 red ones. You'll be using 1 each only, so in case you actually mess up or they fall off, you can always utilize these spares. That's always good to have. All right, and then finally, the reason why I say I have some high hopes is that, so when you're building the shoulders, now one shoulder will be on the main plate. The second shoulder is on a separate plate. Now this gives me high hopes that a red shoulder custom is going to happen. Whether it's retail or premium Bandai, they could easily do a red shoulder custom now, and then have another whole plate having all the equipment. So I am really excited. And once again, I would also like to mention was not able to procure the special expansion part set for this kit, where they give you a special effect where it's, you know, rolling / sliding, and then they give you like an expansion pack for more weapons, and then to actually have the cockpit gimmick. Now this one does not have the cockpit gimmick, but if you buy the expansion set, you can actually have a cockpit gimmick. So wanted to mention that out as well. Alright, so we've seen the basics. Now let's go over articulation. But before articulation, here is a quick comparison with a 1-to-144 scale gunpla kit. So you can see the size is a bit different, but keep in mind, this is, I'm not sure what scale this is, because it's not mentioned in the box, but if you've seen the series, the Scopedogs aren't exactly gigantic as like a real Gundam or mobile suit unit. They're actually pretty smaller, much smaller than a typical mobile suit in the Gundam universe. So wanted to point that out, because I'm pretty sure there are still newcomers regarding this kit, and you might not know what this is. You might be saying, what the heck is this? Is this like a Zaku rip-off? Not exactly, but yeah. But once again, for the new young fans, just wanted to point that out. Alright, so now let's go over some articulation here. So the articulation is kind of interesting here. I think they were really struggling, or they were very like thinking whether to go, should we go this for like full articulation for the new generation, or do we go and keep as much as the original details as well? So yeah. Alright, so let's start with the head. Now once again, the head, it may look like the visor can go up, but no, that's pretty much just makes it look like it goes up. Of course, the 1-to-20 scale would do that, and because the head is actually on a joint here, you can actually rotate the entire head as well. And then the scopes can actually slide left to right as well, but although I am not too happy with the connection here, it's just a square peg here, and then you just slide it in there. Not the best connection out there. The 1-to-20 scale, what they do is that they actually have a locking mechanism here, so they would actually have another piece on the back, and then they would snap the front and the back piece, like there would be a additional piece behind this gray visor here, so it would lock it into place so that it doesn't fall off. But yeah, that's just one of my parts I was worried about this kit, but it works pretty well. It doesn't fall off as easy as I thought. And number two, yes, you can actually spin the scopes. So if you want to reposition it, you can always do that as you wish. So yeah, once again, I haven't read in too deep, or haven't, you know, researched too deep regarding the Scopedogs on which scope does what. But once again, I'm pretty sure they each have their own, you know, aspects. Alright, now let's look. So because the head is like, there's no neck joint as well. Just wanted to point that out. Alright, now for the shoulders, and I would like to also mention here now, this kit does not use any polycaps. They're all plastic joints, plastic ball joints, so keep that in mind. So the shoulders, once again, you can have the forward and backward movement going on here as well. And then, you know, now because it doesn't use any polycaps, everything is a plastic joint. It may fall off or pop off easily, so it doesn't like drop down on its own. But when you're moving it, you might, depending on how you move it, you might accidentally just pop it off what you just saw there. So you can actually extend all the way out there, and then you have another joint that goes up and down like that. You can see the joint here that also moves up and down as well. And because it's on the ball joint, 360, no problem as well. Going to the side, once again, there is a limitation here because of the shoulder armor, but what you can do is you can pull it down, so you can move downwards, but going to the side, I don't think it's much of an option because of the shoulder armor is pretty much blocking the way here. So you can see the joint, once you collide, then the more you push it up, then it pops out. So going to the side, not much of an option here. But once again, I think the Scopedog, even in the anime, the Scopedog units, they're not really articulated. They're like their movements are very basic when you think about it. So I think they did a pretty good job replicating the original aspects going on here. And then rotating the arm itself 360 is possible. Bend wise, you only get a 90-degree bend, but once again, I think that is how it was even in the show, and even I think the master grade, or not the master grade, but the 1-to-20 scale also had some limitations on the arm. But you can actually see, because it's just overall design, it's not really meant to go up more than this. So yeah, and once again, this is a gimmick that the 1-to-20 scale had, and I wasn't expecting. Let me just pull it off the arm. I wasn't expecting this to have in the HG kit, but once again, they actually have the piston punch move gimmick here. You can see you can actually extend that. So for those who don't know what this gimmick is, basically they can actually load in a round inside the arm, and what happens is that you can actually, the Scopedog actually can do a very powerful piston punch gimmick here. So yeah, they actually replicated that. I wasn't really expecting that, but pretty cool to have that gimmick here. So once again, well done. I really had a lot of fun building this kit as well. So really excited to see what else they have prepared. Also, once again, Scopedog is also one of those units or mechs where it suffers like the same as the Alex syndrome, where every time we're always seeing it like this, but in order to bend the arms, we have to go it like this. So what happens here is that the handguard is always on the bottom when you're actually doing something rather than on the side. So yeah, but once again, design, that's all about design, so oh well. And then hands are your typical ball jointed hands, so nothing too special there. Alright, now for the main body. The body should be able to go 360 because of the joints there. I believe this was a joint like this. But once again, you can see there's actually, these are one of those joints where that has some movements on the bottom. So, and speaking of which, yeah, the top section, the green and the light green section, is connected on the front here as a ball joint, if I remember correctly, which is why it allows you to do this kind of movement. Although I'm not sure how realistic this movement is, but it is possible. And then let me just push it all the way in. And because of the small joint there in the waist section, you can also move the body a little bit forward like that. I think this is as far as I go, but if you utilize this, the top section, you can also go a little bit more if you want to do so. Although I don't think the Scopedog would actually do this kind of movement in this show. Alright, now for the waist section. So we have the front skirts. Yes, the design here is supposed to be different. I forgot exactly why these are different, but I'm pretty sure there's a reason. And then the side skirts also move a little bit to the side. Back skirt also moves because of the folding or the storing mechanism gimmick here as well. And then we have this part here. Actually, I forgot to bring it out. Oops. So there is actually, you can see there's like a tab or engraving here. So if you want to have this thing on an action base, they actually do give you a separate piece. Yeah, they give you this piece. So if you want to have this thing on an action base, now I don't think there is a specific equipment that allows the Scopedog to be airborne, but that's more for the space gimmick. So, but once again, we can attach this here, and now you can connect a action base. So that's that. And then once the side skirts are up, now you can see the main legs are in the ball joint. But once again, based on the design, it's not really meant to go to the side 90 degrees. So keep that in mind. Frontwards going 90 degrees, no problem. Back also no problem as well, as long as you open up the back skirt as well. And the legs, you can see the gimmicks here because of the folding gimmick. It's all over the place. Once again, bend wise, you get a very nice bend going on here, and then you do get you do get some forward bend as well, but once again, that's for the folding gimmick, as you saw in the beginning. Now, looking at the feet here, very well done. You have the angled guards here, so no big deal. And then the feet are connected as ball joints. So you can see a lot of joints here, top and bottom, so you do have a little bit of freedom of movement going on here. You can even rotate it 360 almost, because something is blocking the way to doing that. But once again, rotating is possible, and would like to show you some details. Now, in the 1 to 20 scale, they actually have, you can actually, this is actually a stake where you can actually put down on the ground, and then Chirko would lock his leg onto the ground and then spin like 360 crazily to shoot all over the enemies in 360 direction. Now the engravings are here, the details here, this thing does just not function because it's an HG kit, so oh well. But it's really good to know that we have the details, and even on the bottom there are the wheels here. So once again, the wheels don't roll, they're just engraved as detail, but once again, very well done. I wasn't expecting them to put this type of detail into this kit as well. Now, once again, if you're looking for a more gimmicky, more detailed and more larger kit, go for the 120 scale made by Bandai. Even though they might be old, but they're still very fun to build and very unique, and they're always good to have. Alright, so I think that is pretty much it for the basics. So once again, I think one thing only left to show is the weapon gimmicks here. So wait a minute, why is this not working? There we go. So the weapon is pretty much simple. You only have one rifle, and then the rifle connects to the hand very well. You just slide it in and you're good to go. Now you do, oops, yeah, once again, make sure you have everything in the right position, right connection and such. And then you have the other handle. Now, in order to use this other handle, they do give you the semi-open hand. Now, at first, I was a little bit struggling to do this, but it's all about, you know, extending the arm as much as possible. So extend the ball joint all the way outwards, and then reach towards the handle as well. And of course, the arm position, the way how you fold the arms or you position the arms are also pretty important. So make sure you have that in the right direction. And there you go. You have the, you know, double hand pulse, or holding the machine gun with 2 hands. So once again, it's actually possible, a little bit tricky to do at the first time, but once again, once you get the hang of it, you're good to go. Alright, and that is pretty much it for the review for the HG Scopedog. Once again, I absolutely love this kit. I'm really hoping to see more units from the Votoms line. Like, definitely, I would love to see the Blue Beetle, the Snapping Turtle, the Brutish Dog, or that blue one that had the claw on its arm. So, really, really looking forward for it. And then, once again, I really hope the Red Shoulder Custom is coming soon, because I would love to try that as well. Anyway, that is pretty much it. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave them comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews of, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.